Welcome to everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Instituto Gaudia Vaishnava de Educação, with the proposal to debate the Bhagavata Purana, the Vedic philosophy and theology, texts like the Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Puranas, by the perspective of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism from Bengal, from the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we have a very interesting subject to you, the problem of evil and the problem of hell also, and the existence of hell in the Christianism, in Western cultures. So we will analyze this problem by the light of the Vedas and how we have a role, aporia, in the Western religions, with the analysis of Analytic Philosophy and philosophy of the religion. Okay, come with me. So we have a problematic. As we have already analyzed the hierarchical planetary systems in the Puranas, the Naraka, and in Dante Alighieri's medieval allegory. We did this in previous class and previous videos. As we have already analyzed the moral disposition in Abrahamic religions as being inconsistent compared to the notion of dharma in the Vedas, which is extremely consistent in the Vedas. Today we will analyze what some contemporary philosophers thinking about the notion of hell, especially in Christianity. Yes, we are open and franchise as we are going into the third chapter of this study. Yes, the From Hell, part 3. So, a good begin in the Western studies to analyze this is the German philosopher Leibniz in his Theodicy. Here in the right side we have the page original in French. It says of Theodicy about the goodness of God, freedom of man, and the origin of evil. Theodicy. The German philosopher Leibniz would revisit the problem of evil as founded by Epicurus, probably founded by Epicurus, in the following way in his essays of Theodicy. So this is the premise. God either wants to eliminate evil or cannot, or he can but does not want to, or he neither wants to nor can, or he both wants to and can. If he wants to but cannot, he is impotent, a weak God, which is impossible for God. If he can but does not want to, he is envious or malevolent, which is equally contrary to God. If he neither wants to nor can, he is both envious and impotent, and therefore not God. If he both wants to and can, which alone befits God, then what is the origin of evil, and why does he not eliminate it? Other thinkers such as Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Immanuel Kant, and more recently analytical philosophy that we will work together today. We will delve in the problem of the coexistence of God and the emergence of evil. General structure of the Abrahamic religions. One single God, perfectly good and perfectly moral, God omnipotent and omniscient, eternal soul with moral freedom of choice. This is the basis, this is the general structure for the religions as Christianism, Jewish, and Muslim. From a similar perspective, if God is perfectly good, why does hell exist? Yeah, we are in shock. Celsus, the pagan critic Celsus, wrote a work against Christianity called The True Word, Alet Logos, this is Greek, in the 2nd century, and he said, they frighten people with threats, saying that God will punish them with eternal fire. These are nothing but terrors to alarm children and foolish persons. These doctrines are like those of the Egyptians and others who threaten punishments after death. They are tales invented to terrify simple minds. The problem of hell. So this problem of hell and the problem of evil have you are starting in these authors, but coming from these traditions and the development of Christian philosophy in the late and high Middle Ages, Saint Augustine, Saint Thomas of Aquin, a debate arises among contemporary academics, a problem of profound logical tension debated by the Analytic Philosophy and the Philosophy of Religion regarding the problem of hell. If God is perfect good, why does he send souls to eternal punishment, endless suffering? If there is only one life for all souls, only one chance, why are some born into an extremely favorable situation, rich, beautiful, virtuous situation, and others into a completely miserable one? Okay, let's go to the philosophers in the 20th centuries that debate this. One of the main philosophers is John Mackie. If God is omnipotent, he can create any perfect world. If God is omniscient, he knows who goes to hell and who goes to the heaven. It is logically, yes, remember this, it is logically possible for a being to be free and yet always choose good. This can be applied to both God and his creation, humankind. A world where beings are free and always choose good is possibly logical. So, why did God create in that way? At this point, McKee points to a logical contradiction, a logical impossibility in the traditional divine structure. Western divine structure, please. Modern structure. Another philosopher is Alvin Plantinga. He is alive now. In Plantinga, the debate shifts from logic to morality. Yes, we have a move from logic to morality. Very interesting point. The difference between true freedom and determined behavior. Every moral action must be a choice, giving us the opportunity to exercise our freedom. For this to happen, evil must be a choice, otherwise good would have no moral value, as it would not be a choice, but a reflection within us cursing our individuality. True freedom implies the real possibility of choosing wrong. This is precisely one of the essential points that confirm our individuality and independence from God. The possibility of choosing to love Him or reject Him. Jonathan L. Quanvig is alive also, and he moves from the moral tension to justice and proportionality. This is very interesting. Eternal hell is infinite. The suffering has no end. Human choices and actions occur within the constraints of limited intelligence, within a short time frame, and often in precarious situations. How can a perfectly good God allow infinite punishment for finite actions? Is there a pedagogical and didactic correction involved, or is it outright sadism? So this is Bertrand Russell, the British philosopher in the 20th century also, and he have the same line of thinking. Okay, bro. So we have reached an aporia, a dead end, a problem without a philosophical solution. And does Bhagavata philosophy, the Vedic philosophy, Hindu devotional philosophy, and theology have a bad answer for this? If all those 20th century philosophers who debated the problem of evil and hell from a Christian perspective managed to find partial solutions to this problem, what is the Vedic perspective on these issues? So I will go to direct to the point. This is have many others quotes, but this is the main quote in Bhagavata Purana, because Bhagavata Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, is the Siddhanta, is the conclusion of the Vedic philosophy and theology. Even the Vedanta Sutras, this is the natural commentary to this Vedanta Sutra philosophy and Upanishads. Evil exists because we have the freedom to choose it. Okay, this is the Sanskrit. I will go directly to the English translation. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements, this material world, just for our sensual satisfaction. So God did not create the world because He want to put us on there, but because we want to enjoy separate from Him. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulip leaves. So this is the very directly and main answer to the problem of evil in the Vedas, because the problem of evil and problem of hell have too much concentration or begin in the Western, in the Christian religions. But why does pain and suffering exist? What you see here in this picture, boy sticking his finger in the socket. So if the boy don't feel pain, what will happen? So pain is the beginning of freedom and knowledge. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. This is Krishna, God Himself, talking in the Bhagavad Gita. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. What is the cause of immoral acts? Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita, O descendant of Vrishni, by what one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Here, why we choose the sinful acts. The Lord said, it is lust and then anger arising from the mode of passion. This is a very important concept in the Vedas, the three gunas, especially in Puranas and Bhagavad Gita, because these three gunas, these three subtle energies, rajas, passion, tamas, ignorance or darkness, and goodness, sattva guna, these three energies is like three ropes, three chains that conduced the desires and actions of the human beings and all things. The three gunas are the root of the material existence. The three gunas are the subtle basis of this material world of Prakriti. Now, this is the great devourer, the great ferocious one, the enemy. Good and evil, happiness and affliction as products of the gunas. This is verse 22 of chapter 13 in Bhagavad Gita. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkti prakriti jangunam karanam guna sangosya sadasat yoni janmasu. The living entity, us, in material nature, thus follows the ways of life and enjoy the three modes of nature. Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkti prakriti jangunam. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So, this is the Vedic structure of the reality, the theological structure in the Vedas and Puranas and Bhagavad Gita. So we have the gunas that cover all things, that influence all things, all living entities. And we have the Swarat. Swarat is independence, means independence in the first canto, first chapter, first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have the connection with the Vedanta Sutra. Janma Dhyasayata Yato Varat Atartasya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janma Dhyasyato Varat Itarascharte Shvabhigya Swara Tena Tyaktena, etc. So this Swarat, this is independence. God have unlimited independence, and we spiritual souls, Jivatma, as part and parcel of God. This was described in the chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 7. So we have a very limited independence. It's like the notion of free will in the Western culture, but the concept of Swarat is more deep. So we have the gunas that not are present in the Western traditions, in the Abrahamic traditions. We have freedom in the Vedas, called Swarat, but it is a concept more finished, more more advanced. We have Dharma. Dharma, in this context, we can understand as the religious laws that are in the Vedas, that are the religion's laws are in the scriptures like the Bible, Quran, Torah. Okay, Dharma in this context is religion's laws. From these laws, we have the karma. Karma means action, the attitude when we do something. And this third point is a very, very important in the Vedic structure, because this is the hunter property. The hunter property means soul's transmigration, reincarnation. So in the ancient civilizations like the Hindu civilization, Egyptian civilization, Greek civilization, we have some kind of a concept of soul's transmigration. But this vanished in the Christianism and the another Abrahamic religions. And when the concept of soul's transmigration disappear, everything is go down. Everything is dismoralized. And I'm spoken here in the terms of logical in the first step. When you remove the transmigration of the soul from this Vedic structure, it becomes meaningless. Its didactic and pedagogical function is lost, and God becomes responsible for the suffering of the soul. God becomes a deranged father. But when the Vedic structure is present, all the consequences of the action reside in the living entity, the moral author, who becomes autonomous. Just remember this concept from Kant, mature and responsible for his actions. Yeah? And when the hunt property are present, the transmigration of soul, we are the authors. But without this second chance, this benevolence second chance not exist, the responsible is go to the God's back. We ourselves are responsible for the suffering and pleasure what we experience. Karya karanam kartrite karanam prakritim viduhu bhoktrite sukha dukhanam purusham prakriti padam. The cause of the conditioned soul's material body and sense, and the senses presiding dates, the demigods, is the material nature structure. This is understood by learned men. The feelings of happiness and distress of the soul, who is transcendental by nature, are caused by the spirit soul himself. Bhagavad Gita, verse 21, chapter 13. Karya karana kartritve hetu prakriti uchate purusha sukha dukhanam bhoktritve hetu uchate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Yeah, here is the Vishnu, the Vedic God, or the Supreme Person of Godhead, no different of Krishna. It's not my fault. It's not to blame. I'm not to blame. Krishna is not to blame. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Next verse. Nor does the Supreme Lord God assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers the real knowledge, the knowledge about three gunas. Srila Prabhupada aqui. So this is the end. How the Abrahamic religions create the eternal hell, eternal punishment for the sun's god, and how in the Vedas perspective we personally are the moral author of all activities. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for the watching this video. I'm so sorry by my hell English, but have a nice day. Hare Krishna e tchau. Bye bye.